Hello everyone, my name is Envy. We're going to be doing some Windwalker DH double DPS 2s. I'm going to be pausing the video this time around, unlike other videos that I've done, to try to showcase what exactly happened and why it happened. This is kind of a meme comp. I don't really suggest running this ever. I think Windwalker double DPS is very inadequate, but I have a lot of synergy with this DH here, so we're going to just be doing that for fun. So I don't even put port down, if you've noticed. I just want to go straight into him because I don't want to put down port, then get slowed, and then have to waste mobility to try to catch back up to him. I want to be able to always match his disengage or his freedoms with cooldowns. So he's bursting, he's got Thorns, he's got Ironbark, so I want to swap to the Druid here after I've used Kyrian and Zwen on the fake burst. I use Serenity on the Druid here. I'm doing a hard swap. I make sure to kick Clone and then try to do as much damage as I can. He goes Bear Form. My DH cages the Hunter. And we just do enough damage because... See, that one was a little bit tricky because he used Overgrow and Ironbark on the Hunter who already had Turtle and Exhilaration available. He overcommitted to save him, and that was our win condition. If he turtled or exhilarationed, and he didn't stay stealth and just made sure everyone was pre-hotted, we might not have been able to kill through Ironbark, but that was our win condition for that game. My DH does a lot of damage, but it's mainly around either while in meta, or it's based around the hunt, because he is Night Fae, like I think every DH that does arenas are. So we're fighting Arms Discipline, and this one is just a game of, can we get Die by the Sword without committing everything? Can we get PS, Dome, Rapture without committing everything? It's really tricky, to be honest, because we're basically hoping that they panic, seeing double DPS in this bracket. That's a lot of what it actually is. It's causing them to make a mistake because they're nervous about the imminent one-shot. Because we both have a one-shot. And we actually end up getting cooldowns that we don't deserve necessarily. So we open here, I put down port, and then he decides to go after my DH, which is the right play. Going after me is not the right play here. So I ring a pace to buy him some time. He actually metas a Stormbolt there, if you see that. He immunes entirely. I trinket the Fear because I want to stay really aggressive here. And then I swap to the Priest to do as much damage as I can there. And he Darknesses just to buy us a little bit more time. And right there, so we've gotten Dome out of the way, we got PS out of the way, we got Rapture out of the way, and we have Die with the Sword out of the way. So they have nothing left. And my DH still has Hunt. So right now, that's our best win condition. He gets I get Mind Games, so I just try not to heal through it, try not to kill myself too much. It falls. He gets a double stun. Now he's really low, so he hunts to heal. That's how DH's hunts work. It heals you for % damage done, and then damage you do that target during that debuff heals you. So because he doesn't have PS, he doesn't have Rapture, he doesn't have Dome, and he doesn't die with a sword, we have enough CC that we can just kill through. And he gets Rapture up there again, as you can see, but it's too late. I say oh no in chat because I don't want him to get killed by the Disc Priest. But he has enough self-sustain and he has Blur, and we're able to actually just top himself off, and I just kill. I think he actually leaves now that I say that. Yeah, he leaves. That one, if they didn't use all their defensive cooldowns at the same time, they staggered them, and if the Warrior trusted the Priest Rapture to keep him up and save Die by the Sword for that end, we probably lose there because we're like out of gas in the tank. A lot of these games are way more oriented around, are they going to make a mistake? And if they do, can we cause that for our win? You never want to trinket against a Assassination Rogue unless Smoke Bomb is committed, if you have a healer, or unless Vendetta is committed. That is their win condition. So he pops him out of stealth, that's what DHs do. I sap him so he doesn't get the subterfuge if he's running at cheap shots on everyone. And I use Kyrian, I use Wen, and this is where he messes up. He instantly evasions. Right now, that's our win condition. Survive for evasion to fall. Swap Priest. I ring a piece him as I swap over there, so I knew he was going to Shadow Step Kidney, and sure enough, he does it on my, or he Shadow Step cheap shots on my DH. I have to Trinket this, because it's Vendetta. I use everything but Karma. And let me show it to you. So there's his vanish. So now he has no evasion, he has no vanish, and he's not shadowy duel because he's not subtlety. And the priest can't heal because he's getting kicked and purged and CC'd by the DH. So I Karma for a little bit more damage. He line of sights the rogue at the priest at the last second through the corner of the pillar, and he just falls over for it. But if he saved his evasion for when his priest was crowd controlled, he would have lived that. But he used it right away when his priest wasn't crowd control and we didn't have full damage rolling because he panicked, seeing double DPS. Frost DK priest, this priest specifically, is really, really hard for us here. And it's because Frost DKs do the most damage when they're hitting 2 or more targets. They love cleave. Chill streak is so insane right now. And we have to, so we're double melee and a double DPS combat twos. We have to stack. So the plan goes from whatever it was to all in. We have to all in a target because it's going to be a very short fight here. I actually don't get slowed away from the DK, and then I get gripped in, I sap him on this, and then he trinket sap because he's super kill hungry. So I stun out, I use some of my walls because I'm eating Abomination limb damage as well as Chill Streak, and I'm using everything I can on the Priest. We make sure to kick on Penance so he can't get Rapture Shields out. He actually gets really low here, but he actually doesn't die quite yet. DH Darkness is me as well. DK's just pumping out of his mind. We're taking so much damage right now. My DH kicks Shadow in there. I ring a piece him back in, he gets hunted and just touch to death. And he couldn't get the AMZ off in time. If the AMZ came out before Hunt, he might have lived that because Hunt is magic damage. Or at least the dot. I don't know if it actually is on impact, but I know the dot, that is a large portion of the damage, is in fact magic damage. So I actually edited out a loss to the H-Priest Windwalker, because I couldn't really take away anything educational from it. It was quite simply, he crit in his Invoker's one-shot, and he killed my DH. There's really nothing you can do about it sometimes. Because he trinketed, he Darkness, but Darkness isn't 100% well. It has a chance to stop damage, and it just didn't that time. It's pretty unlucky, but it happens. You can't really outplay it any more than that. So we're deciding if we're going to go H-Priest and like swap around a little bit, or just go all-in Monk, and we make the decision to all-in a Monk. Because Fort Brew is a very weak wall, and Karma is a very weak wall. And you can actually kill through them quite easily. So we make that call. And he actually, hindsight, this monk is actually running big Karma instead of Ring of Peace. So I get disarmed, I don't care. I trinket, I'm just doing as much damage as I can. I sap Fist of Fury to stop the parry, basically negating one of his defensives. He gets Guardian Spirited, and that was their mistake, right there. Because he already karma'd, he already dampened harmed, and he has Fort Brew and maybe Carrion if he's Carrion, which I believe he is, in his back pocket. And if he Guardian Spirited when he was going to die, they would have saved him. But they overlapped their defensive cooldown because they panicked. So there's Emblem, and there's Fort Brew. So now he has used Dampen Harm, he has used Karma, he has used Fort Brew, and he has used his health trinket. And Guardian Spirit has done nothing. It's now just on cooldown. It hasn't stopped damage, it hasn't resurrected him, it has done nothing. So now, I just Karma for more damage, we can't stop that, but my DH does enough damage that we just kill through, he ports it, just touch death. And if he got Guardianed at the end of that chain, and I touched a death into it, he would have been resurrected. We don't have any more CC for the Priest, and if the Priest can top that off, they win that, because we're out of everything. I used Trinket, I used like everything I could to live there. They didn't have enough communication and they panicked and overlapped cooldowns. That is our win condition. Warrior H-Pal, it's really a monk's worst nightmare. You can't trade equally into Warrior that'll win. And if a Paladin's quite good, you really can't kill them either, at least not early on. You have to wait till dampening, you have to wait to like get out cooldowns that you can't go through Bop, you can't go through Divine Shield. And especially if you're Invokers, Bop and Divine Shield are more of a problem for you. Because the Kiefer's Legendary that I run, that makes the 50% crit for 50 seconds on Tiger Palm every minute, when they Bop and Divine Shield, it actually allows you to refresh that duration. Alright, so The warrior goes me, which is perfect. They should always go me if they want to lose. But he actually swaps to my DH, which is bad for me. And I ring a piece the warrior away so my DH can do what he needs to do. And right here, I get parry, which was perfect. They should not have parried. Warbandit goes down. I lake sweep into it. That was my fault. That was one of my mistakes. That could have been their win condition, is wasting RCC. Luckily, it was pretty unpunished, all things considered. And if you notice, the warrior's still hitting me, which is fantastic. If it hits my DH can die. I can't die nearly as easily. He actually bops instead of Divine Shields, which gets purged by my DH, and that's why we won. That's part of the thing too, is little things like that is literally why we win. If he Divine Shields instead, and stands there and just casts himself to full and saves his cooldown, saves his Word of Glory, saves his Holy Shock, if he has Divine Toll, saves that, they can win still. But he panics and he Blessing of Protections because he just thinks, oh, it's double melee. I want to save Divine Shield. That is why they lost. They might have won with Divine Shield. We'll never know because he made the wrong call. So this is Fire Mage Holy on the biggest arena in the entire game. It's really not a good matchup. However, he has a ranged kick and he has reverse magic for polys, roots, things of that nature, fears, which puts us in a much better position than if I was running with like another double DPS. So I'm asking him about one of his honor talents that causes his immolation aura to dispel magical effects like roots, like slows. And he says, you can't read the chat because I have it blocked for my stream, but he says he doesn't like to run it because it's not up during windows when you're rooted because you have to use that ability for damage. I do change an honor talent to Ride with the Wind, which I use towards the end here. So we're fighting Gorecki on his priest and a fire mage. And our whole goal is to go fire mage, not necessarily to kill, but to make sure he can't do damage. Kick Ring of Frost, so now we can't ice block, so maybe they'll panic and use a cooldown that's not deserved. My DH got stunned by the Holy Priest. Once again, Guardian Spirit comes out. I'm not sure why he Guardian Spirited. Super high, because he ice blocked anyway. Which, that was a miscommunication, because if he actually got killed there, I don't know the interaction personally between between Cauterize and Guardian Spirit. Does Guardian Spirit proc before Cauterize, so you actually have Cauterize in the back pocket now? Or do they both proc, and then it just kills you anyway with the Cauterize damage? But either way, he Guardian Spirits, and then he Ice Blocks instead of getting low enough, so Guardian Spirit's now on cooldown, and accomplished nothing. I give my DH Sprint here, we kick Ring of Frost again, we haven't been CC'd very much, he's not getting it out very well. And then I use Ride by the Wind, giving my DH Sprint and Mobility to be able to catch up to the target. I sap Priest here because I think we're going to kill. My DH stops Poly, he combusts me, I diffuse magic, and we just have enough damage that we can just kill immediately. And if he had Guardian Spirit there, they may have won, but he didn't have communication with his mage and they just wasted it. We also stopped the mage's damage really well. So this is the last game here, and it's against Holy Priest Assassination, which we've already covered, and it's just basically, can we force evasion or Guardian Spirit without deserving it? Or if we get it, can we not get peeled through blind, through kidney, through whatever means necessary to get the kill anyway? Luckily we have a DH though, because like if we let the rogue get a good opener with saps and everything like that, this is almost for sure unwinnable, but because he is a DH, and he can pop the rogue out of stealth, that's super ideal for us. And he's quite good at it. He's been playing DH since very, very early Legion. And he played it even though it was really bad in the first start of the expansion. This expansion. Alright, so we stack for Fear here, which is really bad, but also what do you do? It's double melee. And I'm really nervous right now because the rogue looks like he's going to get a re-stealth. And he actually does get it. And he gets a subterfuge cheap shot on my DH, so I just lake sweep him, and I pump everything I have into the rogue. And we almost kill, and he gets gripped. And we're like, oh no, like, can we even kill now? Except now they stack. And then the priest made two mistakes there. One, they stacked, and the second that the grip happened, he needed to run away, or he needed to run away. So number one was stacking. And then the number two was the cause of the stacking. Not the cause, the effect of the stacking, which was Cleave. His first heal, he Guardian Spirited himself, and he used the Emblem Trinket to like give himself more HP to survive that. His first heal, he did on the Rogue. So now, he doesn't have the HP required. I touch a death, I force Guardian Spirit to proc, and then my DH comes back from the CC chain, and then just hunts, and the DH kills not me. All because he chose to heal the Rogue instead of himself. But anyway, guys, that is the last clip of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, like it says on the screen, comment what type of stuff you'd like to see in the future. If you want more explained paused guides, if you want more in-depth positioning, one shot, if you wanted to see fun arenas without too much narrative to it, please let me know down below. It means a lot to me.